Welcome back. Did you miss me? Didn't I look fabulous animated? You're going to have so much damn fun tonight watching real wild cinema. You want to know why? Because we've got monster, sex, and rock and roll. And we've condensed these films so you don't have to sit through the boring parts. This is the fabulous underground world of gore and sexploitation films. These films were made in 1 or 2 days with no money and amateur actors. But the filmmakers did share a common trait. They were incredibly committed to what they were doing. You'll notice that a certain passion comes through in all their work. And you know me, I'm all about passion. I'm Sandra Bernhard, your guide through the subterranean industry of cult classics. And the first flick on our night of evil carnival horrors is The Wild and the Naked. The wild part would be the deranged subhuman dancing, and the naked part is covered up by black bars. Sorry. Sure, just shoot him. That's what the exploitation movies always do to a man with a dream. Do you buy that ending? Do you really think those two got together and dated? I think she probably turned out to be a huge bitch and had the guy drop her off at the closest dock. But that's just the twisted romantic in me. Stay tuned for The Girl and the Geek and find out why I, Sandra Bernhard, never go to amusement parks.
Lady Godiva on a white horse, drifting in midair.
For those who will embarrass easily, blindfolds will be furnished free with peeking hold.
In case you pass out during this triple horror science mystery show, that's tough.
Pleasant nightmares, friends.
This next little masterpiece, The Girl and the Geek, was filmed deep in the heart of Texas in 1964, the same year that gave us A Hard Day's Night, Dr. Strangelove, and Goldfinger. However, you'll find no similarities. As a matter of fact, unless you've been chased around an abandoned amusement park by a maniac in a bad Beatles wig, you won't relate to this film at all. But you will enjoy the dubbed-in screams in The Wild Mouse. Be on the lookout for something that looks and sounds like this.
The time is October, the last warm days of early fall. The time is called by some Libra, a carnival geek, escaped from a freak show where he was caged and tortured, forced to perform degrading stunts for a sick-minded, thrill-seeking audience. A poor, twisted mind running wild in a body that has slipped from the lowest rung of the ladder.
Well, that crazy geek's going wild out there.
Keep him quiet. What do you think I pay you for? Gonna have the cops and the whole damn town on our necks. I don't give a damn how you do it.
Okay.
Now you know why I never go to amusement parks, unless I'm escorted by one of the local freaks or working a cash gig. And what was with that geek's facial hair problem? He had little bits growing out everywhere. Get a haircut and a good facial from Ernie Benson and you might have had a chance. When we come back, we'll wallow in the steamy side of the carnival life of She-Freak. And we'll talk to our special guest. Some freaks are made by God, others are made by man. But tonight's feature, She-Freak, was made by this man, David Friedman.
Good evening, Sandra.
Good evening, darling. So? Did it all start with She-Freak? No, it started way before then, didn't it?
Oh, it started way before that.
You're interested in it anyways.
Well, you know, I'm one of those depraved characters. Unlike the gang in West Side Story, I'm not depraved on account of I'm deprived, but I think I picked up my depravity by going to movies. All my life, I have gone to movies from the time I was 4 or 5 years old. And actually, I never particularly cared for the big Hollywood-type product that much, but if it was the independent film, kind of the sleazy little back street film, I loved that.
Right.
When I was about 8 or 9 years old, I saw a film called Freaks.
Yeah.
That was made by Todd Browning,
right.
who was an absolute master of the horror film. And this picture left a lasting impression on me. There's 2 pictures that I've never forgotten. One was that, and the other was the original King Kong. And all my life, I always said, if I ever get in the movie business, I'm going to remake Freaks. And, of course, time came that I was able to make, but by then, there weren't any Freaks left.
So you had to create some?
I had to create Freaks.
Which isn't too hard.
Well, I'm shooting this picture in California, and California had a law at the time that you could not exhibit human oddities. So we had to make them up. At the time Browning made this thing, he had some great freaks. Little Angelo Russati was the little dwarf, Johnny Eck, the 3-legged man, the CeeLo, the armless, legless wonder, the doll family. They were midgets that later were on the Ringling Show. He had all the freaks in the world. We don't call them freaks, we call them human oddities.
Right, right.
And so, at any rate, this picture was very shot on a European circus, very dark mood, what have you. Kind of a lugubrious film, really. I wanted to make it into an American carnival with a lot of bright lights and all of the bright sunshine of a California fair, and then juxtapose the behind the tents and tinsel lies a nightmare, an alley of nightmares. And that's what we did. And to a degree, it worked. You're going to see it in a few minutes.
We're going to see right now.
Okay.
Matter of fact, we're right here with David Friedman, and we're going to go right to David Friedman's She-Freak.
So you got in here? You got no geek or nothing?
Nah, the law won't allow it. We got something better in there.
There are only 2 kinds of freaks, ladies and gentlemen. Those created by God and those made by man. The creature in this pit is a living, breathing human being that once was. But that's another story that happened a long time ago, a long way from here. Look, if you must.
Are you the boss?
Proprietor, general manager, and chief chef.
Well, look, I'm an advance man for a carnival show coming in, and it's being sponsored by your Legion. Would you do me a favor? Would you mind putting this card up somewhere in here? Look, it's for the Legion.
Well, I guess that's the least I can do for a customer. And for the Legion. Hey, I'll have that.
I sure appreciate it.
Is there any jobs for girls around the show? Oh, I can't sing or dance or anything like that. But if there's work, I'm used to it.
Look, the show will get in late Sunday evening. Monday, go to the office wagon. Ask for Al Babcock. Now, you tell him Ben Thomas sent you. Ben Thomas.
You get out of here, you carnival tramp. I don't want you giving my customers no disease. You know where you're going, girl? You're going down. You're going all the way down.
From here, it's all the way up.
I now direct your attention to the platform to your immediate right, where Madame Sonia, the foremost hypnotic herpetologist of our time, will demonstrate her occult control of nature's deadliest and most loathsome creatures, snakes alive.
What's the matter? You look shook.
I just saw him.
Who, the crowd? The freaks? So?
They're so horrible.
Honey, God made them the way they are. They're better off around here than most places.
Why do they have to be anywhere?
Hey, Moon, you're on.
Just wait here. I'll be back in a minute.
Steve St. John just came in with Mr. Babcock.
Excuse me. I've got to wait on those gentlemen. Good morning, Mr. Babcock. Good morning, Mr. St. John.
Good morning, Jade. You've met Steve St. John?
What can I get you, gentlemen?
Just coffee. Black. Same.
Yes, sir.
Where'd you come from, Al? Oh, just a little country gal looking for something better.
Oh, you ought to see the way old Blackie lives in D.C. today. Listen, I don't take nothing off nobody.
I just might have to stake out that little country girl for myself.
Oh, she's already been staked out, pretty boy. So you better go find yourself another location.
Well, now, Mr. Fleming, we all know you're a real big wheel around this show. But if I decide to take a shot at that little hash-slinging yokel, I ain't gonna bother asking you. And I just decided.
There's lots more freakishness to come in the conclusion of She Freak. I don't know about you, David, but this She Freak girl doesn't look like some little old country girl looking for something better. She looks like a Swedish supermodel climbing her way to the top of the carnival business. I don't trust her. Let's find out what her intentions are. Here's part 2 of She Freak.
How's it going?
Fabulous, but I think it'll get better.
You won't be too late, will you?
Oh, no, another hour or two at the most.
Well, good night, gentlemen. I hope you all win.
Good night, Jane. Good night, darling. I won't be late, I promise. Huh? You got yourself a great little broad vest, Steve.
Hey, where are you going? Hey! You know, if I had a good-looking wife like you, she wouldn't be wandering around the lot at night by herself. Of course, you could be looking for something. Something special. Something you probably can't get nowhere.
Well, now, Shorty, what are you doing back here? You're supposed to be inside looking out for my interests.
Mr. St. John, I gotta talk to you. I gotta tell you something.
Good morning, darling. Good morning to you, Shorty. Dear.
That's sweetheart. I didn't wake you up last night when I came in, did I?
I'll talk to you later, Mr. St. John.
No, he doesn't like me.
Oh, Jade, you're imagining things. Shorty likes everybody.
Give me the creeps. They all do.
Oh, honey, they're my friends. They're human beings just like you and me.
They're not like me, they're not. I'm no fake. What do you want?
The same thing you do, Mrs. St. John.
Shorty, come around back. I want to talk to you. Say, Jane, I just heard something. News sure travels fast around this lot, doesn't it? Look, it's not my business, but did you have to run him off? He's been with Steve for 12 years. This is the only home he has. Like you said, none of your business.
I guess both of them had a hand in what you see here.
Ugh, her face. Even the snake was trying to get away from her. Maybe in some weird karmic way she asked for it. They're not like me. I'm no freak. Well, you are now, honey. Remember, what you loathe is what you become. Frightening thought, isn't it? We'll be right back, and we're going to talk some more with my wonderful guest, David Friedman. We're back with my guest, David Friedman, writer-producer of She-Freak. So what do you think? Why isn't there a bigger demand for the kinds of films that you used to make? Does it have anything to do with the disappearance of drive-ins?
Absolutely. Sandra, the drive-ins were the home of the exploitation movie.
Right.
I mean, in the, say, 1970, there were roughly 5,200 drive-ins in the United States.
Wow.
Now, these drive-ins, these situations didn't require big, major Hollywood pictures. Musicals weren't that big in drive-ins. Certainly not, excuse me, certainly not drawing room dramas. They wanted action. They wanted fast cars. They wanted a little skin. Yeah. They wanted something horrible. This was how companies like AIP came into existence.
Right.
AIP pictures were designed specifically for drive-ins. So were my pictures. So were all of us that were in the exploitation business. This was our home.
It was fun. I mean, you got the family together, and the husband didn't have to change his clothes. They had a six-pack of beer, and you went to the movies.
Well, you could do things in a drive-in, too. You could have dusk to dawn shows,
right,
where you could play 6 horror pictures in a row, starting at 6 o'clock in the evening and running until 6 in the morning.
I know.
You could actually have, with She-Freak, for example, I had a gang, some circus cars and wagons, and a couple of phony freaks that we'd go around and play the picture I made. Probably the picture for which I am the most infamous was a picture called Blood Feast.
Right.
And in that picture, I screened the picture for my wife, who's always been one of my severest critics. I said, "What'd you think of the picture?" She said, "In one word?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Vomitus." So I said, "Well, okay, that gave me an idea." So I came up with these vomit bags that the airplanes used to give you, you know, and on the front of it I said, "You may need this when you see She-Freak." And we'd pass these out a week before the picture opened, and they became collector's items. And everybody came to see Blood Feast.
Wow.
But these were the things you could do in drive-ins. Today, there's no longer any exploitation. That all the theaters, all the movie theaters today are these multi-screen complex. I call them mausoleums, and you cannot.
Mausoleums.
You cannot. They don't even put a one sheet out front. You don't know what's playing. You look up there on the marquee, but there's no posters or anything anymore. So how are you going to do a street stunt?
Hey, Dave, I hear you do a pretty good carny pitch yourself.
I've been known to. For example, if you're fronting a girls' show, hey, this is a show where they take it off, wrap it up, roll it out, and throw it right at you. This is a show for those between the ages of 18 and 85. You're under 18, you wouldn't understand it. If you're over 85, you couldn't stand it. Now, on the inside, you're going to see 16 beautiful girls in various stages of dress and undress. Now, I'm going to have these girls come out here on the stage just one more time for you all to take a look before the show starts on the inside. I want you to look at one thing and one thing. All of these girls are going to be wearing a red kimono. I want you to pay particular attention to that red kimono, because once you get inside, you're never going to see that kimono again. And that was what was called the pitch, the ballet, turning the tip and getting the customers to come into the tent.
And here we are, under the big top.
Here we are, and this is where exploitation all started. All of us, or most of us, that got into the exploitation film business came from the carnival and the circus.
And we're going to keep it going. Thanks for coming on the show. Time for our last flick on Evil Carnival of Horrors night here on Real Wild Cinema. This next short came directly from a carnival sideshow. Her name is Snake Girl. And this woman does things with snakes that would cause outrage with the animal rights activists of today. See if you can spot the symbolism in this suggestive scene. Did she have to French kiss the snake? God, I hope that job provides medical. More reptiles after this. Welcome back to Real Wild Cinema. We didn't have time for these next two films, so I'm going to show you their trailers. I love coming attraction trailers. They have all of the movie's best scenes, and they're over in 2 minutes. I always wish there was a theater you could go to that only showed coming attractions, but there's not. So I'm going to do it here. It's my show, and you are all slaves to my FCC-friendly fantasies.
The shock heard round the world. Made by the men who made Mondo-Cane, Mondo-Pazzo is more of the same. It starts where Mondo-Cane left off. Surmounting it in its indescribable beauty, surpassing it in the shocking and the bizarre, an awesome and astonishing panorama of human behavior. Mondo-Pazzo is packed with electrifying realism and relentless power. Only the makers of Mondo-Cane could produce a greater motion picture, a more shocking motion picture. This is Mondo-Pazzo, Mondo-Pazzo, Mondo-Pazzo.
To those on the outside, peaceful and serene. To those on the inside, filled with terror and evil beyond belief. A beautiful girl, torn from the arms of love. Her very life a nightmare in the house of hell, with no hope of escape or mercy.
Trailers have always been the best way to sell a film. And what better way than to show someone eating a barbecued arm? It makes me want to rush out right now and see Mondo-Pazzo, but I can't. But you can see films like these and other classics next week, right here on USA's Real Wild Cinema. Actually, I don't have to wait. I'm going to take my clothes off right now and shoot next week's show. I'll be wearing nothing but 2 black bars. It helps the fantasy so much if you tune in and watch. I'm Sandra Bernhard. Good midnight to ya.